everybody, it's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be doing the January book tag. This is essentially a tag that is all about it being the beginning of the year, but it is originally created by Jan from Jan-uary. So I believe there's a little bit of a play on words with the name Jan and January. I will link Jan's channel in the description below, as well as anyone else that I talk about in this video, so you should definitely go and check out all of their channels. Jan's channel is a channel that, in all honesty, I was kind of aware of, but hadn't really had much to do with or seen any videos from until really recently, when it was suggested to me that I do this tag by Sash from Sash Reads. So thank you so much for the suggestion, Sash. It seemed like a really fun tag and quite appropriate for it being January, so I decided that I would go ahead and do the tag. So let's have a look at all the questions. There are 10 questions, and like I said, they're all about it being the beginning of the year, first books, all of that sort of thing. So let's dive on in. Question number 1 says, what was the last and first, if you remember, book you read last year? So the last book that I read last year, technically the last book that I read I actually finished on the 1st of January, but I read most of it in December, so I'm counting it as a book that I read last year, and that was As Good as Dead by Howard Jackson. The first book that I read last year was Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Question number 2 is, what is your first read this year? Not counting As Good as Dead because of what I just said. The book that I started on the 1st of January was Babel by R.F. Kuang. The book that I finished first of the month though was The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Question number 3 is, share 3 of your reading goals this year. I'm going to link down below my video in which I talk about all of my goals, go through my reading stats and diversity game and all of that, so you can go and check out all of my full thoughts over there. But 3 reading goals, just quickly for now. First of all is I want to, well, the one that encompasses most things is I want to continue to try and diversify my reading. So I want to continue to read at least one, but potentially more, but at least one book written by a Black, Indigenous or person of colour. At least one book every single month that has LGBTQIA+ rep. And I want to try and increase the amount of books that I read this year that have been translated from another language into English. So yeah, that's 3 reading goals for 2023. Question number 4 says, share 3 of your anticipated titles. Again, I'm going to direct you to the video I made where I talk about 23 books that I'm excited about that are coming out in 2023. But just off the top of my head, I'm going to go with Homecoming by Kate Morton, The Bookbinder of Jericho by Pip Williams, the one by Samantha Shannon, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. Question number 5 says, what goals did you reach or not reach last year? Probably the biggest goal that I didn't reach last year was that I wanted to try and do the buzzword, which is a reading challenge that Kayla from Books and Lala creates every single year. And the basic idea is that you have a word that either the word itself or words that kind of relate to that word have to be in the title, and it's a word every single month, a different word. And I definitely wanted to do that last year and I just didn't. I had a couple of times where I accidentally managed it, but I just didn't. So I definitely failed at that one. My diversity, broadening my horizons, was something that I wanted to do last year as well, and I feel like I definitely did do that. I didn't have any month where I didn't read at least one book that had LGBTQIA+ rep or was written by a BIPOC author. Yeah, I just branched out a lot more, so I'm pretty happy with that. Question number 6 says, are there new releases this year you've heard of that you have no desire to read? Not really. I tend to be a bit of a backlist reader, and it wasn't until this year that I decided that I wanted to actually look forward into the coming year and see what books were coming out and what I might be really excited about. So that was something I actually did that was a little bit out of the ordinary. So no, I don't, because I don't tend to really follow what's coming out. Not very well anyway. I definitely find out from all of you, all the people who I follow on Instagram and BookTube, but I don't, no, basically is the answer to the question. Question number 7 is, what are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? I mean, I've already spoken about some diversifying, so that continues. I want to be a little bit better about series. I may make a video and out myself for how many series I am currently in the middle of. I haven't really made a record of that, although again, I probably will need to, but I did think about it the other day and thought about starting a book and realizing that it's the first in a series and I am currently technically in the middle of quite a few series. So I want to be a bit better about reading books in series and actually finishing series, at least books that are out. I mean, if a series is ongoing but it hasn't been released, there's not a lot I can do about that. But yeah, that's probably a habit that I want to get out of. And this year I am going to attempt throughout the entire year to do the 1 in 5 reading slowdown. So what that means is for every 5th book that I own, whether it be physical, audio or ebook, for every 5th book that I own that I read, I'm allowed to buy 1 book. I did break that the other day, but I took books into a secondhand bookstore. I think I took like 6. She took 4 of them. She didn't take the other 2, but I put them in a free library anyway, and she gave me $20, so I bought 2 books. One of them is a book that I definitely will read soon because it is my In Real Life Book Club read for January, February, so I have to read it anyway. And then the other one, I don't know when I'll get to it, but it is a series that I'd actually said to myself, that I'd actually said to myself as we were kind of walking into the bookstore, if they have this next book, I will get it. So the point of the book buying slowdown is not so much about how much money I spend on books, although obviously there will be a change in that anyway, but it's about not having, well, at the moment, last count, I had 170 unread books on my TBR. Not having such a large amount of books on my TBR that just sit there and then keep buying more books and not ever reading the books that are still on my shelves. I do have a habit, I know a lot of us do, but I do have a habit of doing that, and I just don't have infinite space. So yeah, that's a habit that I'd like to change as well. Question number 8 says, are there any adaptations that you're excited about? Yes. Heartstopper, the 2nd series, is coming out sometime this year. Not 100% sure when, but I've had a look around and I think April, May, June might be potentially when. I'm very excited for that. Absolutely love the 1st season, absolutely love the graphic novels, as you can see, and yeah, super excited for that to come out. And then the 2nd series, which I believe is coming out this year as well, of Brain Not Working, The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. I've not actually read the graphic novel series. Definitely on the list of books I'd like to read, but it's kind of lower down on the list because aforementioned trying to read books I own. I don't own it. However, I would like to read it. Really enjoyed the 1st series of the TV show and I'm looking forward to that. I am counting it because even though I haven't read it, it is still an adaptation. Oh, and sorry, another one, Shadow and Bone, the 2nd series of Shadow and Bone. Question number 9 is favourite bookish memory of last year. I have 3. So the first one is when I went to Melbourne and I met Ellie from Jan-uary Books, who is one of my best bookish friends, real life friends. And then also last year I went to Queensland and I met Lana from Lore and Lullabies. Again, another best real life bookish friend, just friend. So those 2 are incredible memories that I made last year that are absolutely amazing, that I will treasure forever. And then hitting 1,000 subscribers was absolutely amazing. I was so incredibly grateful. I'm so excited. I just, yeah, absolutely loved it. Kind of got obsessed with that fact. Very excited to have hit that and hoping to just improve as I go along. Question number 10 is carryovers from last year that you still plan on finishing. The only one really that I'm counting as a carryover from last year is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I put it down just because of timing and needing to move on to other things, other TBRs, etc. So I do intend to go back to it, but I haven't, and I think I put it down in like April. But I intend to read it to my grandmother. So my grandmother and I have a little thing where I go in to visit her and I read her books. This year, or last year I should say, I read Emma, and the next book she'd like me to read to her is Rebecca. So I will be reading it. I'll be starting again, but it still counts. So that is all the questions. It doesn't actually say, I don't think, no it does not, to tag anyone. And I'm not going to anyway, because by the time this goes up, it will be around halfway, possibly later in January. And I know that lots of people do plan ahead their videos, if not pre-record and pre-edit. So I'm not going to tag anyone. But if you have seen this video and you would like to do this tag, then consider yourselves tagged. Like I said, I will link Jan and Sasha's channels in the description below, so you can go and check them out. Lana and Ellie will also be linked below as well, so you should go and check them out also. Let me know in the comments below what books you started this year off with and what 3 reading goals you have for this year, if you do reading goals. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me, just leave me something purple, an emoji that is purple because it's my favourite colour. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.